Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Welcome to Southwest Desert. I'm your host, Alan, and today we're diving into one of the most intriguing lost mine stories ever to come out of the Sonoran Desert. A tale of gold, betrayal, and a mysterious blind soap maker who took his secrets to the grave. It's a scorching afternoon in the 1850s. Three men on horseback are leading their pack mules toward a vital water source known as Agua Salada, where the alkaline underground flow of the Sonoita River touches the surface. The sun is setting over the jagged peaks of northwestern Sonora, casting long shadows across a landscape that's claimed hundreds of lives. One of the men points excitedly toward the horizon. "See those Pino Mountains up there?" he says, barely containing his excitement. "That's where I found the gold, scattered right down the hillside. We'll start early tomorrow, load the mules with ore, and be back here by evening." For one member of their party, these words seem almost too good to be true. Unlike his companions, he isn't a seasoned prospector fresh from the California gold rush. He's El Jabonero, the soap maker of Sonoita, and until recently, his life had been far removed from the wild dreams of gold seekers. But when these two prospectors walked into his village with samples of incredibly rich ore, he was the one with the money they needed for supplies and equipment. Now, as an equal partner in their venture, he stares into the gathering darkness at those distant peaks, imagining the fortune that awaits. Before we delve deeper into their fate, let's understand exactly where we are. Agua Salada, where our three adventurers made camp that night, was no ordinary desert watering hole. For centuries, it had been a crucial stop on one of the most notorious trails in North America, El Camino del Diablo, the Devil's Highway. Located less than 10 miles south of what's now the international boundary and about 25 miles west of Sonoita, Agua Salada had witnessed the passage of history's greatest pioneers and adventurers. The legendary Jesuit missionary Padre Quino stopped here 250 years earlier. After him came the Franciscan Garces on his evangelical journeys, Captain de Anza blazing the trail to Alta California, and Captain Pedro Fages marching with his soldiers to quell a Yuma uprising. During the California Gold Rush, thousands of hopeful Sonorans paused here before continuing their journey north. From this vital waypoint, the old Caborca-Yuma Trail made an abrupt northwestern turn around the shoulder of Sierra de la Salada. This marked the true beginning of the Devil's Highway, a 100-mile stretch of pure hell where water was scarce and death was common. Travelers could only rely on three uncertain sources of water: shallow depressions scooped in clay basins that might hold rainwater, crude wells dug in sand washes, and natural tanks eroded into the granite mountains by centuries of seasonal floods. That night at Agua Salada, as our three treasure seekers settled in to sleep, they had no way of knowing they were being watched. Earlier that day, they had passed the Arenenos Rancheria at Quitobaquito. The Arenenos, or San Papagos as they were known to settlers, had taken note of their well-loaded mules, fine horses, and abundant supplies. In the harsh reality of desert survival, such riches were an irresistible temptation. Under the cover of darkness, the desert Indians struck. The attack was swift and merciless. Both prospectors fell immediately. El Jabonero was brutally wounded, particularly about the head, and left for dead. Years later, members of the Arenenos would admit to the massacre, though by then it was far too late for justice. Somehow, through what must have been an extraordinary feat of human endurance, El Jabonero regained consciousness before dawn. Despite injuries that had already begun to rob him of his sight, damage that would eventually leave him completely blind, he managed to make his way back to Sonoita. There, he told two stories that would become legend: the tragic tale of the massacre and the tantalizing account of a golden ledge scattered with ore more precious than anyone had ever seen. Like all great lost mine stories, the details of the Jabonero gold have become clouded by time and retelling. Some say the discovery was made in 1830, others place it in the 1850s. Did the original prospectors find it while returning from California, or were they just local miners getting lucky? Did they work the site multiple times, or was it just one brief, glorious discovery? The answers depend entirely on which version of the story you believe. One of our most reliable accounts comes from Jose Alvarado of Yuma, a man whose family connections give his version particular weight. As the grandson of Juan Bautista Alvarado, governor of Alta California between 1836 and 1842, Jose had access to the story through an old man whose father knew El Jabonero personally and heard the tale from his own lips. According to Alvarado's version, the two prospectors who found the gold were returning from California 4 or 5 years after the gold rush. One morning, while tracking down a horse that had slipped its hobbles, one of the men rode to the top of a large hill to search for his companion on the trail. Coming down the other side, he noticed ore scattered across the slope, some pieces catching the early morning sunlight. That rock, as the story goes, was pretty near all gold. It was full of gold. It was more gold than rock. The prospector wrapped several pieces in his handkerchief and hurried to catch up with his partner. When they reached Sonoita and smelted their samples, they claimed the ore was 2/3 pure gold. But perhaps the most fascinating piece of this puzzle is a mysterious document known as El Jabonero's will. By 1878, the old soap maker was living in Los Angeles, completely blind but still haunted by his golden secret. He called to his side a young man named Cio Bustamente and dictated what must be one of the strangest wills ever written, a detailed set of directions to the lost gold. The will, taken down in shorthand so it could not be read by anyone, contained 11 specific calls or steps. Let me share them with you. First call: leave Quito following the old road leading to Tinajas Altas. Second call: thence to the end of Pinto Mountains. Third call: from Pinto Mountains go to Cabeza Prieta Mountain. Fourth call: at Cabeza Prieta there is a well of water. The directions continue with remarkable specificity about a crucial fork in the road. By standing at the forks of the road to the right, 3 peaks standing alone are seen, and in direction to said peaks, the middle one is the mine on the opposite side of it. The will emphasizes repeatedly that these peaks can only be seen from this exact spot. The little peaks cannot be seen from no other place but only from the fork of the old road leading from Quito to Tinajas Altas. Here's where things get really interesting for modern treasure hunters. Every detail in El Jabonero's will shows intimate knowledge of the region, but something's off. The directions don't quite add up to any known location. Was the old soap maker's memory confused by time and trauma? Did young Bustamente, unfamiliar with the region, make mistakes when transcribing the shorthand? Or has the landscape itself changed? Mountain ranges known as Pinto in El Jabonero's time might have different names today. The first 3 points in the will can be followed. You can still travel from Quito to the Sierra Pinta and then to Cabeza Prieta Mountain. But after that, things get murky. The will mentions a well at Cabeza Prieta, but historically, the only well in the area was Tula Well, dug in the 1860s by a Mexican entrepreneur who sold water to prospectors heading for the Colorado River placers. So many died in this rush that the Camino became almost deserted, and the water merchant abandoned his enterprise. If El Jabonero meant this well, why didn't he mention the distinctive adobe structure that still stands there today? José Alvarado made 2 attempts to find the gold, guided by the old man who had heard the story firsthand. During one expedition, they reached the border monument north of Agua Salada. Alvarado climbed the monument and looked west, convinced he could see the Pinto Mountains north of the line, in United States territory. But his guide, fearful of Mexican revolutionaries in the area, refused to continue. El Jabonero died around 1886 at the age of 84, never having seen his daughter benefit from his lost treasure. His daughter followed him to the grave around 1901. The elder Bustamante, who received the original directions, made no attempt to use them and died in 1907. His son made one fruitless search in 1912, financed by an eager investor. Since then, countless others have tried to decode the old soapmaker's mysterious directions. In the harsh borderlands where Arizona meets Sonora, the legend of the lost Jabonero gold lives on. Somewhere among those twisted peaks and ancient trails, a fortune in gold might still be waiting. Or perhaps, like so many lost mine stories, it's simply another desert mirage, shimmering forever just beyond reach. This has been Southwest Desert. Join us next time as we explore another fascinating tale from the wild American Southwest. Check out my large Southwest catalog of videos and playlists on Southwest historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.